Hello, my name is Patrick, and today I'll be presenting my project, which is Apple packaging and the iPod. iPod is once the most used product in the world, and it's owned by the one of the biggest technological juggernauts to date, Apple. iPod revolutionized how we as a consumer listen to music to this very day. People will listen to music on a daily basis. But let's dig into what transpired. So back in October 23rd of 2001, iPod was announced. One of the most notable feature about the iPod is a small form factor. But the only drawback is it requires MP3 files, which require the consumer to download the essentials for the iPod. iPod was an experimental testing product for the audience to see what they like and dislike about the iPod, which eventually transpires what we know as today as the iPhone. Back in 2000, Apple took a major risk factor in investing the iPod because back then people used DVDs and cassette tapes, which were popular back then. Then, by creating this, meant that people are required to download the music on one listening device, which not only takes time, but takes storage to listen to. However, iPod was a steady hit, and as soon as iPod Touch came landing, it was a massive success, which led to further development and it turned into the iPhone, which alone made international success. Comparing it to the Apple packaging, iPod was the first step to revolutionize Apple's product to we see today. Now I'll be presenting my first iPod commercial that I found on YouTube. In terms of it falls under the illustrations, and the colors emphasize the people listening to music being in a sort of a groove. So, what is Apple packaging? You might ask. People, Apple packaging is like the name suggests, is packaging of the Apple product. As we see here, we have the iPod, iPhone, AirPods, MacBook, the Apple mouse, pencil, etc. But the key point here is the Apple packaging is very satisfying when unboxing an Apple product, which, let alone both the consumer and the producer, because either the package is the product is new for the consumer to consume and explore the unknown, which can surprise them even further. Thinking of the thinking of the Apple packaging is like eating a new dish, and the Apple packaging is the dish. The consumer eats the dish, and as soon as the packaging is in your mouth, there's multiple flavors, which is kind of satisfying of what it makes as the Apple packaging. Because it surprises us, it molds them, and it gives absolute wonder. In design aspect, it mainly focuses on the proportion and unity, which falls under the 3D aspect. There's not a lot of colors, which emphasizes on the idea of new, and the lines and shape fall under the idea of mystery. But how, you may ask, the how is the iPod and Apple packaging similar? To answer this question, they are similar because they're Apple products. And mainly the iPod design is the portability and battery design, like Apple Pie Dream, very slim looking, futuristic compared to the other competitors like Android, for example. The satisfaction of unboxing when you have it the first time lingers. In terms of the boxing, both the iPod and Apple packaging has the same features, like the cable, the manual, the product, the warranty, and the sticker. But the idea of it being similar is how it's being handled, which includes the presentation of unboxing appeared the box itself would be subtle, but at the same time ingenious, which allows the consumer to have a better experience exploring this kind of product. Here's a video of me unboxing an Apple product. So, how are they similar? and different. So, how are they different, you may ask? That the notable differences between the original software, between the iPod and Apple packaging, to dig deeper into the rabbit hole. iPod is simple execute design, which the MP3 file compared to the Apple packaging, which has multiple OSs installed and execute under certain circumstance to charge capability, which also fastens because of the generation and time as Apple patches more and more advanced compared to the iPod. The size, which is notable difference, as well as the iPod, is very limited in terms of storage back then. To say the iPhone, which contains about 3 to 4 gigabytes ahead of the Apple iPod. Downloading an MP3 file on the iPod takes much longer compared to other Apple products to date. And the iPod is very limited to a wire headset compared to Apple packaging like the iMac and iPad, which has Bluetooth capability. The charger is much more durable, and the accessibility to other devices, iPod is just only limited basically to one certain charge capability. An iPod is only limited to the scroll wheel, which, wow, a lot of people. The other Apple packaging is just to navigate via consumers' touch, and durability of the iPod is very fragile compared to the other products that Apple sells, like the AirPod. Fun fact is, who's Steve Jobs? So basically, Steve dropped out of college and was interested in engineering and took a job at Atari Corporation as a video game designer in 1974 and saved money to travel to India to experience Buddhism. And his business partner, Wilkins, made a motherboard called the Logic Board, which started Apple Computer One. But how they came with the expense was Jobs had to sell his car, and Wilkins has to sell his programmable calculator to make up the funds for Apple II, which Apple II had basically a built-in keyboard and the molded plastic casing for the unit. And the sources that I got. Thank you for listening and have a great day.